What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beers and. Today, we're going to be talking about beers and airplanes.
Just realized that hand motion and shouldn't do that again.
Into the sky.
Whoops.
That's all right. We're just not going to call attention to it.
No.
Everything is going to be totally fine. How are you doing, sir? Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, Nick, to another episode. Our first episode post
wedding.
My wedding.
There it is. I was going to say,
let's
see the ring. Let's see the ring.
Yep, there it is.
There we are.
It got a little stuck yesterday, so I was pulling it, and I swear that I pulled my finger out of my socket just the slightest bit.
Wow, if that's not already a sign, he's already trying to pull it off, and it's not coming off.
I routinely wake up and go throughout the day, and Christina would be like, "Where's your ring?" I'd be like, "Oh, it's in the other room."
I love the part, marriage. I think nowadays it's one of those where it's like we've already lived together for years. We just had a party and gone ahead and registered with the state. But it's not like years ago where it's like we met each other, we were dating for 6 months, and then 6 months later we got married. It's like, the fuck is the matter wrong with you people?
Not like that anymore.
And we wonder why divorce.
Like I said, we have it for real. Welcome in, everyone. If you didn't get a chance to look at the ring, you can always come watch us over on YouTube at Beers and Podcasts. Come find us over on the TikTok and the Instagram at the same. I would say the TikTok. We're working on it. Nick's working on it really, really hard. So go check out his hard work. You can come check us out over on Twitter at Beers and One. And as always, send in everything to beersandpodcast@gmail.com. Nick, my
Alex,
friend, are you ready for this Cape May beer?
I am. It is a perfect beer. We are recording on Memorial Day weekend. It is Memorial Day itself of 2022. So if there was ever a more perfect I think brewery to go for on a day like today, Cape May Brewery.
Cape May, baby.
The pride
Always
and joy
ready.
of New Jersey.
Actually, I feel like we need to take a trip down here, but always ready. Hazy pale ale. Can't go wrong. Drink local, right?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm excited. I did not read I'm holding it still like I feel like I'm on The Price is Right. I didn't read the profile until just now.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
So Cape May is home to the Coast Guard. So we salute those who are always ready with the juicy, hazy pale ale. With the addition of wheat and oats for a medium body and with vibrant aromas of tropical fruits like pineapple, mango, and citrus zest, this lush hop bomb is always ready.
Ooh.
Even more appropriate on Memorial Day.
I love that.
Right?
Let us
get on in.
I'm gonna roll it.
Ooh,
I don't think we need to roll much because it's just a pale ale.
Correct.
It's just a little hazy pale ale. Oh, you know what? I don't think we've ever had a pale ale on the that's a lie. We've definitely had a pale ale, right?
I think we have, but I don't think we've had one that seems as complex in terms of some of the flavors.
Oh, so I get the hops. Let me tell you, Nick, buddy, while we pour these beers, we're going to be talking about airplanes today.
Yes, we are.
I believe this was your topic.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from either, to be perfectly honest with you. I think I am jonesing for a vacation.
Okay, so in lieu of that, how long is too long for you to fly?
There is no limit.
The limit does not exist.
The limit does not exist. Now, the caveats, however, they do. And it is, I can sit in coach economy. Sorry. I can sit in a coach flight for for about 7 hours. I can do coach. Anything beyond a 7-hour flight, no, I need something just a little bit more relaxing.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's well, a lot of times again, those are for international flights, obviously. I shouldn't say obviously, but yeah, that's my limit. I think the first time I had flown home from Rome direct back to JFK, and just because of the wind and the airstreams and all that stuff, I didn't realize that it was like an 8.5 hour flight.
Oh, wow.
And roughly, like I said, roughly around that like 7.5 hour mark, I was like, fuck this. Like, I am done. I need to be treated just a little bit better. I need a little bit more room for these, long dancer legs of mine. But yeah, that's what I would say is my like limit.
Okay.
What do you have? Or how long is too long?
Like 5 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I start to get like really cramped up. Because you know what it is? It's like, it's not the same as being in a car for 5 hours. And I know that if I'm in that car, I could stop and stretch my legs. If I got to get out, I could stop for snacks.
That's true. That is true.
There's a much easier way out when we're not in a plane.
I'm a big proponent also of like it depending whether or not, again, you're flying domestically or you're flying internationally, because figure like Newark to the West Coast in general is just about like 6.5-ish hours. And the fact that those sons of bitches will go ahead and like charge you for like a meal, like drives me insane, or a snack, or we're going to come around once, or maybe twice for a drink, but it's only, soft drinks and tea and coffee are going to be included. But if you want to have a cocktail, then you got to pay.
Oh, for sure.
Meanwhile, though, you fly in the other direction. Like a flight from Newark to London is about the same. It's about 6.5 hours. And they are wining and dining you. You've got a full meal. You get all your booze, right up front there. And I'm about it. I can do that, Well,
I think it sounds like the destination, like we get screwed if we're staying domestic.
Oh, 100%.
So I've never flown.
We're back. Technical difficulties.
Very technical.
I can't wait to show you the way that, I don't know if you saw, if I froze on your end.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because you froze on my end, which is hilarious in terms of like the freeze frame that I got of you. Mwah.
For a second,
beautiful.
For a second, I'm not going to lie to you. You were in a way where I thought that maybe you were just playing a trick on me and it just froze. You ever see that video online where it's those guys doing a presentation with their boss and the first guy freezes? Stop. Yeah, when he stops, first guy freezes and then the other guy picks up and he freezes. And then he's like, I can see Carol in the background. You're eating chips.
No, you had the same sort of thing because you actually got close enough to where I couldn't see anything happening in the background either. So it worked out very, very well. Very well. That and 1,000 here. Oh boy.
So I have never flown internationally. So I have nothing to compare it to.
You're about to though.
I guess technically.
Yeah, that's a British it's a British Virgin Island, no?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Maybe.
This will be fun.
I'm not
folks.
good at geography.
This will be fun, folks. When I get the phone call going, they won't let me in, and I also can't get out. So you're gonna have to fly.
Oh, just call me Brittany Griner at that point.
Sure.
The U.S. Women's basketball player who's been detained in Russia for like
too soon.
Yeah, way too soon. And I had to explain it too.
Yeah, wow, that poor gal. Yeah, I like how, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the WNBA like just come out and be like, we're trying our hardest to go ahead and get her out? It's like, bitch, she's been there for
how long has it been now?
100 days, over 100 days now.
It feels like longer than that, honestly. I'm not gonna lie to you.
100 days is still
a long time.
Roughly like, nearly a third of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, off that. So about 5 hours on a plane for me. That feels just about long enough to not want to be on a plane anymore.
Now, I didn't get really too much into this in any of my research and whatnot, but I was
sip these, by the way.
We should. I was going through. Cheers. Clink. Oh, on a day like today. On a day
I wish it was a little colder.
Me
too. I'm
not
not even mad.
But I'm not upset about it. I thought the same thing, but it is such a nice Oh, I get a lot of that nice mango and pineapple
Oh
coming
yeah,
through in there.
big tropical flavors.
Really,
It's
really
almost
nice.
it's a little more weedy than I'm used to, or than I would have expected, I should say.
Well, and it specifically notes that their addition of the wheat and oats to give it more of that medium body, because it is a little bit heavier, I think, than a traditional pale ale.
Yeah.
Just slightly, just enough, I think, for it to be noticeable, but not to the point where you're all of a sudden like dipping into like IPA territory necessarily.
Oh, I like that it has pairings on the side too.
Oh yeah, cheese, fish, meat,
Cheese, fish, and chicken wings, I guess.
chicken wings. Oh, I could go for
But
a
you
chicken
you
wing.
served it in the right glass. Good on you.
Though that was
There's
just
a little
happenstance.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, good on you anyway.
Are you not drinking out
Um,
of a pint glass?
no, I've got my little. I like the can.
Oh, you like the
I'm a
can
big fan of the
ones.
can
The
glasses.
can
Yeah.
glasses? Yeah. No, yeah. But this is really the only thing I had other than
Oh, okay, fair enough.
like a, what is it? The Chimay glasses.
Let me tell you, I'm pretty impressed by this, and there is a really intense hop flavor
Much
that
hoppier than
I
I would have.
didn't yeah, that I
Yeah.
did not expect.
Yeah, me too. And I think that's because of that haze. Does it say what type of hops are in here?
You know, it didn't. I feel like I need to know though.
Stand by to stand by.
Yeah, there's also something else on there. It says Semper Paratus.
Oh, I don't know. I wonder
Not
if
sure what
that's
that means.
I wonder if like how Marines are Semper Fi. I wonder if this is like the Coast Guard is Semper.
Oh yeah,
you know what
always
Semper
ready.
Paratus means? Always, yeah, it means always ready.
Always ready.
Always prepared or always ready. Yeah. Stand by to stand by.
What was the other? Oh, hops. That's right. Always ready.
It's nice at a 4.8 ABV too. You know,
It's very drinkable.
very, very drinkable.
Yeah, I
it's
could crush about 13 of these.
what's
Like,
nice.
This is a lawn work beer.
Yeah. What's nice too is that it's just again, it's a step up, I would say, from your like traditional, come on, almost like light beers, if you will. It's got a little bit more nuance to it, but you can still, like I said, you can still crush through a whole bunch of these, and
These
they're
are packed
moderately
full of flavor.
priced. And they're moderately priced
Yeah,
because
I'm looking. I'm on the website, on the Cape May website, and it doesn't have the hops in it. I'm really surprised. I know, I'm kind of surprised.
Bastards.
This has won an award though, this beer.
It's again, this is one of their, I think, almost like some of their more like classic, quintessential, always available brews.
I think so too.
I'm impressed.
I'm on the site trying to figure out what award that it won.
Someone's timing belt is not working very well, and it's been driving me insane because they're clearly circling the block for a spot. And
sad day.
I could go in on this for a long time, a little bit colder, like you said.
I almost killed mine already.
This is a perfect, you know what kind of beer this is? A reach your hand down into the bottom of the cooler. The ice is, there's still a decent amount of ice, but it's kind of melted.
Just wondering where was I putting my hand? Where does Nick have me putting my hand this time?
Listen, you know what? You stuck around long enough to find out, and I hope it was worthwhile, which would have been our response no matter what I was going to say. But the one where like all of a sudden you start to feel like halfway up your arm, like it starts to hurt.
Numb.
Yeah. But you're going to pull one of these suckers out and it's going to be worth it.
I'm into it.
So worth it.
This was a good choice considering, we had plenty of choices.
Good Lord. I'm going to go pretty high.
Okay.
I'm feeling like a 4-4. Like I enjoy this as a, how can I phrase this? Simply complex. It's a simple beer. It's not super heavy. I think that you could get away with, especially when it mentions like the pairings, I think that you could get away with drinking this for a decent period of the year. Like I think you could start drinking this in March or April and go all the way through to September, October.
I like that. Yep.
And I enjoy that quite a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go 4-4.
Wow, that's a little higher than I thought.
Yeah,
either of us were going to be. I will say that I'm pretty close. I'm at 4-1.
Okay.
Like I think right under 4-1, 409. I think, yeah, I'm getting that big mango, tropical, pineapple-y kind of note, and yeah,
Ooh, and I've got a lovely breeze that just came through as you were describing that too.
it's beautiful outside today. Honestly,
It is.
I did.
It
We were
is.
very happy to go outside.
Yes.
First day really out of the house for the
That's
most part.
that's right. That's right.
Being on the shelf and everything again. Gotta love it. Alex on the shelf.
He's back again.
Back. Was it? What's the word? Semi-annual.
Semi-annual. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the semi-annual Alex on the Shelf broadcast.
Yes.
No, yeah, it's very, very nice. I hope this is a good precursor for the summer to come.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to get in person again.
I know this is going to be
episode.
great for the next episode.
Yep.
Would you like to kick things off?
You know what? I would. I'm going to
Sure.
actually start us off. I have something rather short, but I think it would be good to talk about first, because something I always think about whenever I think about airplanes is how fast they go.
Oh yeah.
Always, I've always been super interested in that. I think it's really cool to see like how far we've come as far as technology, and or as you're about to see, like what I didn't expect was like how far we've came already, but like haven't been able to surpass yet, or maybe it's because of like the needs.
Yeah.
But I sent you a link.
Yes.
So if you care to bring up the second of those links that I sent you.
Okay.
And what we're going to talk about is some of the fastest fighter jets.
Oh shit.
So this is, like I said, something that always kind of intrigued me whenever we start talking about like breaking the sound barrier. So Mach speed. Okay.
Oh wow.
So we're talking about breaking the sound barrier. That's what that refers to. So Mach speed would be 332 meters per second or 717 miles per hour. So we're talking like, unfathomably fast.
Faster than a commercial jet.
Yeah, which I think sit around anywhere between 400 and 500
somewhere around
miles
there,
per hour.
Yeah.
Right. So when something breaks the sound barrier, it can be characterized by a sonic boom.
Yeah.
Which is always so fun to watch. Like watch it actually break that barrier. So I got interested, and I wanted to know like what was or what is the fastest jet. So like the fastest jet ever was more of a rocket with wings. And you can see it if you scroll down a little bit in that page. It's the old rickety looking one.
Yeah, is that it really?
Yeah, so back in the 60s, NASA and the United States Air Force teamed up and they built what's called the X-15. So it actually isn't jet propulsion, it's rocket propulsion. So technically it's kind of like doesn't even really count, but it does count because it was a crude, like powered aircraft. So this actually reached Mach 6.72, which clocked in at around 4,500 miles per hour.
That is so incredibly fast.
It's 5 times the speed of sound.
Holy shit.
So this is the X-15. This still holds the record to this day for the highest speed ever by a crew powered aircraft. And by like any other margin, or I'm sorry, by a huge margin, clears any jet by a huge margin. So now let's go to the fastest jet in service. So this jet is still in service.
Yeah.
So if you scroll down just a little bit more, you were going to see actually a beautiful picture. You guys will see this too in the sunset, that silhouette of a jet. That is the Mig-25 Foxbat. So MIG stands for Mikoyan Gorovich. It's capable of about Mach 3.2 or 2,190 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
Which is still like an incredible speed, but that's half of the X-15, mind you.
What was the difference in time? Meaning like when did these, so the X-15.
Oh, okay. Was in the 60s.
It was in the 60s, yeah.
This MiG-25 Foxbat was brought about in the 70s. It's a Russian built interceptor And for over 50 years, it has remained one of the fastest fighter jets to ever be used in service.
Huh. Wow. Who would have guessed that they peaked in the 70s?
Right. So like I
Yeah.
said, Mach 3.2 or about 2,200 miles per hour.
Oh my God.
And then just like really, really quick for another fast hitter, I want to talk about the Blackbird because I feel like a lot of people know what that is.
Singing in the dead of night.
Exactly.
Which one is the Blackbird?
That is, if you go down just a little bit more, you'll hit a list actually.
Oh yeah, I should just click on the list.
And it's the second one on the list. So we're talking Mach 3.4 here. So the Blackbird, for anyone who doesn't know, is traditionally a surveillance aircraft. I mean, still incredible speeds of 2,500 plus miles per hour.
Good God.
But they're not really used much anymore because most of the surveillance now is done by satellite.
Oh,
these were actually retired in 1999 by NASA because they don't really use them. You know, they don't need them anymore.
This is insane because when you kind of like when you look through this paragraph and some of this information, you know, it beat so like we kind of know, I think at least like the Concorde.
Yeah. I was going to get this. I'm glad you did.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I didn't even realize.
No, it's fine.
For reference for us, because I think like, yeah, like when we think about like airplanes, you know, the fastest thing that we've known otherwise for like commercial travel is, you know, the Concorde. That was always, you know, New York to London in roughly 3 hours. And this beat the Concorde by a full hour.
I know. It's awesome.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's really awesome. So that was London to New York in an hour and 54 minutes.
Yeah, that's a regular flight from New York to Florida. It went across the entire Atlantic.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's amazing how we just stopped.
I know. Well, and that's the thing. Like, did we really stop? Probably not. No.
I mean, yeah, probably not.
All right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those, you know, like, oh, well, it's fastest jet in service.
Service.
That's right. That's how they get around it.
Wow.
It's all about semantics, buddy.
Such is life. Yeah. Such is life.
Right. So that was my little, you know, I wanted to hit on that. I thought that was really cool, interesting. And, you know, who doesn't love fast things?
I love it. And especially when it comes to travel, I am a firm proponent in get me to where I gotta go as fast and as safely as humanly possible.
Yes.
Damn it.
We want efficiency, safety, but most of all
fast. Yes. And we can do all those things.
I think that is that's a perfect tagline for this generation.
100%.
Efficiently, safely, but we want it fast.
Yes. I want it fast. I want it now, but I want it, you know, make sure that it's done well.
But I want the golden goose.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Still the best line. You're gonna be very unhappy around here, Henry. I went immediately kind of off the tracks with this. Now, I will say, I don't know, and I'll ask you: Are you nervous to fly? Like, do you not like flying, or do you like flying?
No, I'm not nervous to fly, but I will say that first ascent always kind of gets me.
Yes.
You know, like that ramp up and then you hit the air and you're still climbing. You're like, oh, it's the roller coaster that never comes back down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That always gets me a little bit.
Yep. The first 5 minutes of a flight are usually the ones where I'm like,
yeah. Am I sure I want to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I sure? Is it too late?
Otherwise, I love to fly and I love the atmosphere around flying. And I think that it's because I always associated it maybe with like something glamorous. You know, there was always something very kind of like cool about flying. None of this preface has anything to do with what I'm going to discuss.
I was wondering where you were going with this.
Nothing.
Fantastic.
Not a thing. I, however, started off with Leaving on a Jet Plane. The great song.
Great song.
Love it. Interestingly, and there's actually a lot I didn't know about this. I know all the words and the whole 9 yards, but I didn't know too much. So the song was originally written by John Denver in 1966 for his debut demo, and it was titled originally "Babe, I Hate to Go," you know, just as the lyric, you know, insinuates.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, he was 23 years old when he had written it, and he had written the song during like a long layover at Washington Airport, which was the airport that used to be down in DC before it became Reagan Dulles, whatever the hell it is. I think it's Dulles, actually. Yeah, Reagan's in Texas. Dulles is in DC. So he had originally written it, while he was waiting for this layover. And when he had recorded it, he made a number of copies, and he had actually gave them out as Christmas presents that particular year, which means that somewhere there is an original copy of Leaving on a Jet Plane as a Christmas
floating
gift
around
from John Denver.
That's awesome.
So his producer at the time was a guy by the name of Milt Oken, and he had convinced him to change the name to Leaving on a Jet Plane in 1967, so about a year later. So in 1967, at the same time, this guy Milt Oken also happened to be the manager for and producer for Peter, Paul, and Mary, the folk trio. So Peter, Paul, and Mary had recorded a version of the song as well. John Denver and them were all really good friends. And the trio had released it as a single, and it actually became their biggest hit of their entire performance career, and also their last one. It was also the only song of theirs that made it to number 1 on the charts. So it wasn't even something that they had written. Meanwhile, John Denver had re-recorded the song for his first studio debut album that same year in 1967. And when he released the single, it failed to even make it on the charts.
Interesting.
Right? So he had later commented on the song during a BBC radio special. He had said, quote, "This is a very personal and very special song for me. It doesn't conjure up Boeing 747s or 707s for me as much as it does the simple scenes of leaving. Bags packed and standing by the front door, taxi pulling up in the early morning hours, the sound of a door closing behind you, and the thought of leaving someone that you care for very much. I was fortunate to have Peter, Paul, and Mary record it and have it become a hit, but it still strikes a lonely and anguished chord in me because the separation still continues, although not so long and not so often nowadays." So it was always meant to be a really kind of lonely, sad, depressing song. And even in the wake of its kind of success, he still always felt it to be that way. And of course, then perhaps not too surprisingly, the song was used frequently in commercial adverts, specifically for United Airlines in the late 60s and early 70s. And I had found one of them as well, and it's hilarious. Oh, did I lose you? Are you on mute?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep, sure am. Regale us, please.
It was
It's a live looking at me playing video games at 11 o'clock at night.
Perfect.
Where did Alex go? We haven't heard from him in 5 minutes. Fine.
I'm here. I'm just muted. But it's the commercial is for United, and it's following what I guess we can call it, what they did, at least at the time. So everyone get off my goddamn back. But stewardess training academy graduations, when they were being given these hats, and their fathers would come up and give them hats and put them on and the whole night. Because don't forget, being a flight attendant in the 60s and 70s was huge.
I mean, I feel like it's a big deal now, but yeah,
it still is 100%. I don't want to take away from that.
No, yeah.
That was really the first kind of
deal.
example. Oh yeah. So you hear, you see all these shots of them at their graduation. And then in the background again, Leaving on a Jet Plane is going through. And even then, United, I didn't know, was still Fly the Friendly Skies.
Still.
Yeah. Even back then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. Oh, I can't minimize the meeting. Oh, all right. My bad.
Oh.
Sorry, computer.
Having some real interesting technical.
Yeah, I've never seen my, an inanimate object yell at me so much. Usually animate objects do that.
I feel like I'm yelled at more by inanimate objects. The wireless speaker that I have, when the battery gets low, it wants me to charge it. but it has an accent. So it says, low battery, please charge. Low battery, please charge. And I find myself yelling at it very frequently. Go, I know.
Sounds like he's yelling at you.
Get charged. Shut up. Stupid thing. So leave it on a jet plane, John Denver.
Whenever I think about John Denver, you definitely don't think about this, but I always think about Final Destination, because John Denver, they used a John Denver song in the first or second one.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was Rocky Mountain High.
I love John Denver. In fact, I actually wrote down, when I was doing my notes, I wrote down, originally written by John Denver, R.I.P. Gone too soon. I love you.
I love you. Do what I do. I leave myself little notes in my notes. They're just for me. They're not for anyone else. They're just for me.
Just wait till we get to my second conversation, or my second topic to discuss.
All right, I'm excited. So I'm gonna take us. I got two more. They're both honestly, like, I like them both. Okay, I'm ready to try my Rod Serling. My imitation again. All right, let's go for it. We're gonna go back to the Twilight Zone, because I don't know, like, I feel like now that I've talked about it once, I can connect the dots to any Twilight Zone episode I really want to do.
Oh, 100%.
You can just connect the dots. Like, I'm gonna go out and buy myself an adult Connect the Dots book, because I feel like that would really bring harmony to my life.
They've got to be really intense in the adult versions too, right?
I hope so. They're just easier. Like, draw this triangle. Congratulations. Okay. So anyway, another, like, absolute banger of a Twilight Zone episode. And I can't believe I'm doing another Twilight Zone episode, but here we go.
Excited.
The name is Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Starred a very young, might I add, William Shatner.
Mm-hmm.
And his famous line is, if you don't know it from the Twilight Zone, then you'll 100% know it from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, When Nature Calls. There's something on the wing. Something. Classic William Shatner line. I think what also makes this episode, like, such a classic is that it kind of preys on, like, you asked me at first, it kind of preys on people, the innate fear of flying.
Oh, 100%.
So and that's what's made it like stick around, be such a strong presence, I feel like, in film since, because there's been remakes.
There was a remake of it. I think a couple different ones, specifically specifically under the title of Twilight Zone, if I'm not mistaken.
So yep. So I'm going to talk about one of them, and it's of the same exact name, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. It was in the Twilight Zone movie. There was an adaptation of it.
I just listened to a podcast about the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to hear what you've got.
Okay, great.
On this one. Very
and then
excited.
There's one I also didn't talk about, and it's called Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. And that's in, I want to say 2004 or 2009 is when they started to remake the Twilight Zones.
Oh, yes. On Sci-Fi Network, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And they did another one. Yeah. They did an updated. All right. So Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, William Shatner, right? So, like, many people are afraid of flying, like I said, or get anxious about it. So it kind of preys on that, but there's an interesting twist. So I will admit that for the most part, when I reference the episode, I'm making a reference to the movie, because I will say that the first episode, the CGI or lack thereof, it's awful. Like that.
Oh, in the original version?
Yeah, that like Bigfoot looking like costume is not scary.
He looks like, you ever see the kind of like get up that hunters will use when they're trying to like hide like in a bush?
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like.
Yep. Totally agree. Okay. So Shatner's character in the show, or I'm sorry, in the movie, was played by John Lithgow. And the special effects were way better. They look awesome. And it really does bring like a whole kind of like new chilling element to that. Because if you watch the movie and then go back and watch the original William Shatner, they're worlds apart.
Huh.
So here's the opening narration. Portrait of a frightened man. Mr. Robert Wilson, 37, husband, father, and salesman on sick leave. Mr. Wilson has just been discharged from a sanitarium where he spent the last 6 months recovering from a nervous breakdown, the onset of which took place on an evening not dissimilar to this one, on an airliner very much like the one in which Mr. Wilson is about to be flown home. The difference being that, on that evening a half a year ago, Mr. Wilson's flight was terminated by the onslaught of his mental breakdown. Tonight, he's traveling all the way to his appointed destination, which, contrary to Mr. Wilson's plan, happens to be in the darkest corner of the Twilight Zone. So we start off, he's already on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Shot comes in wide, bit of a stormy night. You could see the plane bouncing, experiencing a bit of turbulence. Okay. So we're already set up for not the best flight, I would say.
Not usually something I want to have happen on my flights.
Exactly. Robert Wilson, clearly unsettled from his recent stint at the sanitarium, can already be seen fidgety and paranoid. Gazing out the window, he notices what appears to be a man on the wing of the plane. We get right into it. This is no man, he quickly realizes, but a gremlin of sorts, seemingly bent on the destruction of this plane. So he can continuously be seen like futzing with the engine, like trying to cause issues.
Yeah.
So he turns to his wife, Julia, and tries to tell her that there's something on the wing of the plane. He tries to tell the stewardess there's something on the wing of the plane, but every time somebody else comes over to watch, the gremlin like hides itself by the engine, so it's kind of like underneath the plane, but out of sight.
Yeah.
So he admits that his claim is crazy because it's kind of exacerbated by the fact that only he can see this gremlin. So it's already not looking good for this guy.
Like what a like mind fuck to begin with, this idea of like, I know that this sounds strange.
Yeah.
I know that I just came out of being institutionalized. Like I'm so hyper conscious of myself and my surroundings, and I don't know how I'm going to express to you like there's some shit out there.
And that's exactly how you would be. Like, I know this makes no sense and I sound batshit crazy, but like this is happening right now. Somebody pay attention. So he knows that he sounds crazy. He was just in the loony bin. He admits it's strange that like this thing is hiding for everyone else but him. So in response to his repeated outcries, he's given a sedative. He pretends to take it, spits it out, and then he begins to worry that his wife wants to send him back to the sanitarium. But like it's getting worse because now the gremlin is really like hacking into the wing of the plane and trying to get to the engine. You can see the sparks flying off and stuff. So in a fit of desperation, he grabs a fire extinguisher, begins to smash the window.
God.
Right? A cop on board grabs him, tackles him to the ground, but somehow he knocks out the cop, grabs the cop's pistol, fires at the window, like blowing the window out, and now sucking himself out the window. Now he's flying out, half out the window, half inside the plane, firing off at this gremlin thing. He can't hit a shot. He's a terrible shot. I don't even understand why he's trying at this point.
I was just going to say, not so much that he's a terrible shot, but you're traveling at roughly 500 miles per hour.
Exactly. So luckily at this point, they're landing. So you can see him, like he's been outside long enough that he has like ice, like icicles hanging from his face. The gremlin flies over to him, like essentially does like an Akeem Olajuwon, like waves his finger, grabs him by the face. Yeah, I don't know. Grabs him by the face and then flies off into like the night sky.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh my God.
So they finally land, right? They put him in a straitjacket. He's whisked away on a gurney. So obviously they're bringing him right back to the mental hospital. And as the scene fades out on a routine check of the plane, there's seen some conspicuous damage.
Holy shit.
Turns out that one of the plane's engines was tampered with, revealing that Robert Wilson was in fact not insane.
Oh, I love it.
So I don't have the closing narration, but that is another, I mean, like classic episode. and I think pointed out by the point that it's been redone twice.
If I'm not mistaken, one of my favorite things, and I'm going to have to check to verify this, but I feel like I remember catching it very, very early. And it was during the original with William Shatner.
Mm-hmm.
The flight attendant goes to like get the pilot to like address, like, you know, warn the pilot, like, hey, this guy's kind of freaking out or whatever. And when she goes to get the pilot comes from the back of the, like, comes from behind him. And I remember watching it going like, oh, what, like a continuity error. Like the pilot, if you're going to summon the pilot, you would never get the pilot's not in the bathroom.
Yeah.
In the back of the plane. And I have to check to verify that. But I always remember that being like one of those things of like, oh,
no, I feel like that's right. Yeah, no, I feel like you're right.
That's a terrifying episode.
Like, I
always remember there's something out there on the way.
The movie really is that much more scary.
I'm gonna have to send you. I'm gonna send you the episode of the podcast that I had listened to. It was
please do.
It was a Behind the Bastards.
I need to charge this laptop. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Stall.
My bags are packed. It's time to go. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. Because
you're doing a phenomenal job.
Leaving on a jet plane. I sang,
I must say,
most of the refrain, I think, of Leaving on a Jet Plane for us. You know, just to hold us over. Am I going to edit it out? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, by the way, was released in 2019.
Oh, okay.
The most recent spinoff, and Adam Scott is the starring role.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to go and watch some of those new ones because I haven't. Because it was one of those things like once kind of like Black Mirror came about, I was like, oh, this is like the Neo Twilight Zone. So I never watched
you're right.
the new ones at all.
So if anything, the new Twilight Zone, the new adaptations were in part written by Jordan Peele.
Oh, you're right.
So it's Rod Serling and Jordan Peele on like kind of a revival.
You're right. Yeah, because Rod Serling wrote a number of those.
I think almost all of them.
Really? What a wild character too. Like he was a real person, you know.
Oh, he's a character, all right.
Man, and yeah, like if you see, it's funny because it is one of those things where like I don't know. Again, you know, being part of the generation that we're a part of, again, I think this big crossover of like, you know, either watching what was just on TV still, but at least having like cable kind of available to us. I think we watched a lot of stuff still that, you know, again, our parents and previous generations had watched that maybe folks nowadays, like kids, I don't know, that are even in their, you know, teens wouldn't watch. And as a result, not get some of the references. But it is such a good episode, such a great showing. All of the Twilight Zones are, you know, they still freak me out to know, you know, because no one also was paying attention to what I was watching as a child. So, you know, why is he petrified to fly? Oh, I have no idea.
Couldn't be the Twilight Zone.
Couldn't be the Twilight Zone. That would be strange. Only a parent that doesn't monitor their children would have let them watch that.
Right. God. Or that is too trusting.
Yeah, one or the other. Because isn't that another one of the? Oh yeah, because we discussed it again. You watch Twilight Zone on New Year's Day. They've always got the Twilight Zone New Year's Day marathon.
Oh yeah,
classic.
Oh yeah,
I'm like switching back and forth between the Honeymooners and Twilight Zone.
I would argue that there are no better juxtapositions in cable.
Order $75 worth of Chinese food and just pack in.
That sounds phenomenal.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. So I went ahead then, and I explained to you before we had started that I kind of started to do an exceptionally, please excuse the fact that I'm sweating. It's on camera. I see it, but you know what? Who cares? Fuck off. I went ahead and I did a deep dive into Jefferson Airplane.
Oh boy.
Classic band from the 1960s, perhaps one of the most quintessential sounds of the counterculture revolution, psychedelic rock.
Yeah.
And they are very much considered to be, in many regards, again, one of the pioneering bands of the psychedelic rock music scene from San Francisco at the time. And they were first formed in 1965, and in fact actually became the first like Bay Area band to achieve international success, ultimately becoming the only band, and I didn't know this, the only band to perform at all three of the like kind of iconic concerts of the 1960s. They performed at Monterey Pop Festival, Woodstock, and at Altamont, the death of the 60s, the Altamont free concert that the Stones had thrown, also in 1969.
I always forget about that one.
Oh yeah, the one where we're gonna go ahead and hire the Hell's Angels to go ahead and act as security. Yeah, great idea, Mick. Well done. So they were first formed by Marty Balin, who had then recruited all the other members after he had opened up a club called the Matrix. And that really became like a hub for the San Francisco music scene at the time. And it was actually the guitarist, and forgive me if I pronounce his name incorrectly. I want to say that it's Jorma Kaukonen. And he had come up with the name inspired by a nickname that was given to him, which was Blind Thomas Jefferson Airplane. And it came from there was like another older like blues guitarist who was called like Blind Lemon Airplane or something like that. And that's how he got his nickname. And then according to him, they were all thinking up these like quote unquote really stupid names for the band. And he had turned around and said, if you want something really silly, try Jefferson Airplane. So that's where the name came up with. Like it was, that's how they came up with the name for Jefferson Airplane.
Trying to come up with silly names.
Exactly. And he was like, these are all really dumb, but if you want to think of a dumb name like Jefferson Airplane, try that.
Okay.
So their breakout had come through with the addition of Grace Slick, who is a absolute stone cold 60s fox. It's the only way I can describe it. Like Grace Slick is beautiful in all regards. Ooh, baby. Go and look up what Grace Slick had looked like in the mid 60s, late 60s, just like phenomenal. So she had become their lead vocalist after the original vocalist, a woman by the name of Sydney Tolley Anderson, left because she had gotten pregnant, had a baby and decided like, I don't want to tour, after having a kid. Like, I don't think that that's fair at all. So Grace Slick had already been known to the members of Jefferson Airplane because she had been performing in a band called the Great Society, which might sound familiar. No?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Regardless, when she had joined, she brought two songs that she had written. Well, she had brought two songs that were written for the Great Society originally that wound up being on their like kind of like smash album from 1967, Surrealistic Pillow. So she brought one song that she had written herself and one that had been written by her brother-in-law at the time. And I'll get into those two tracks in just a little bit. Okay. So the album, though, again, which is really kind of like the quintessential album of the psychedelic like music scene, it only took 13 days to record at a total cost of $8,000. That was it.
That's nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the title of the album itself, Surrealistic Pillow, came from one of their producers, Jerry Garcia. of the Grateful Dead. However, so he had made a passing comment that the album had sounded as surrealistic as a pillow is soft. And that's how they came up with the name as Surrealistic Pillow. Let's just double down on the idea that it was 1967 and everybody was just on a shit ton of, hallucinogenics.
All sorts of everything.
Interestingly enough, he didn't have much credit from RCA. They recorded on RCA Records. So they didn't give him credit as a producer on the album. However, he is credited with being the quote unquote spiritual advisor, which I think can be read as dealer, probably. Sure. So the two songs that really kind of catapulted the band and the album, like I said, were two that had come from the Great Society. One of which was White Rabbit. You know White Rabbit?
Maybe.
One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small.
Definitely.
No?
I don't think so.
Man. I'll send it over. It's
okay.
Unbelievable song. So it uses imagery from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, as well as then the sequel Through the Looking Glass. So Grace Slick had wrote the lyrics first and then the music, allegedly having spent $50 on a red upright piano that was missing 8 or 10 keys.
8 or 10.
Somewhere around that vicinity. We could say 9, roughly 9 keys. So she had commented, so the whole song is, one pill makes you larger, one pill makes you small. The one that mother gives you doesn't do anything at all. Go ask Alice. I think she'll know. So she had commented that the song was meant to be a slap in the face to parents who had read their children such novels and then wondered why their children later went on to use drugs. Because Lewis Carroll was experimenting again with, hallucinogenics.
For sure.
When he had written those books. It was also a bit of an homage to Alice and how, unlike so many other stories where there was like a Prince Charming that needed to come along and, save the damsel in distress and save the princess, Alice had done everything on her own and just kept going. She followed her own curiosity. It was a matter of, I find myself in this kind of bizarre and weird and magical place. I'm the only one that is going to be able to get myself out of this. So it was basically, again, an homage to this idea of like girls and women are just as capable of independence. Exactly. And I was like, that's really cool. I don't think I actually realized that when I, think about that. The other song was Somebody to Love.
Not the Queen song.
Don't you want somebody?
Oh, I know that song.
Yep. So it was originally written by her then brother-in-law, Darby Slick, after learning that his girlfriend had left him. So while it was written during the period of, free love and open love and all that, Darby saw this as a potential problem. And as a result, the song actually champions these ideas of like loyalty and monogamy, reinforcing the idea that like falling in love doesn't really happen, but rather it's an action that one must consciously make. And
interesting.
Well, it takes away
way to put it.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of the mystery, I think, and kind of the like allure of like love out of things. But I do think that it makes sense also. Like, you have to consciously date someone and kind of picture yourself spending, again, your life with someone. And that's kind of the process of falling in love.
Sure.
I think
takes away some of the whimsy. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But I guess at a period where like everybody was, it was a sexual revolution. So everybody was, screwing around with everyone. So when Grace Slick then had joined Jefferson Airplane, the version had become much more like ferocious and much more like aggressive, and subsequently became their biggest hit, peaking at number 5 on the charts.
Oh, wow.
And then this is where I went off the rails. I go, there's so much to talk about the band, because booze and drugs and drugs and booze, but I won't. Who am I writing this for? It's just you. Wasn't that guy who fixed your windshield today delicious? Eat him with a spoon. Where am I? Oh, okay. I am. So He was very attractive. So following Surrealistic Pillow, the band had another 5 albums that all charted in the top 25 through 1972, which is roughly equivalent to an album a year for the next 5 years.
Wow.
All being in the top 25. Ultimately, the band went through a number of like different performers and lineups. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996, and they were given a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2016 as well. So of those original members, or of the members, like, you're right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I just kicked the leg of the table. It's fine.
All right. So of the members during like their peak success, only 3 are still living today. You know, this is unfortunately like some of these greats are all, you know, moving on. So interestingly enough, though, the original vocalist, the woman, Sydney Tolley Anderson, who Grace Slick had replaced, as well as the other band co-founder, Paul Cantor, they had died on the same day.
Oh, wow.
In January 28th of 2016, both at the same age of 74. And then two quick reasons why I love Grace Slick, and not just because she was a 60s counterculture smoke show. So the first of which was that during an August 1969 performance on the Dick Cavett Show, the band performed the song "We Can Be Together," and subsequently she became the first person to say "fuck" on American television.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was awesome. I mean, the whole band sang it, but she kind of sang it first.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And then conversely, when the band was later performing as Jefferson Starship during their 1978 European tour, she had caused a riot with German audiences because they had to cancel the show one night because she was too drunk. And then the next night when they did perform, she was also too drunk to perform properly. She had a substance issue, where she mocked the audience for losing World War II, actively saying into the mic, "Who won the war?" over and over and over again, which I think is just absolutely brilliant. And that's where I stole the line from her whenever I go to the South, and whenever I'm surrounded.
Oh, you did?
That's
where that's right.
Yep. Who won the war? Whenever I'm drunk and around the Southerners, I got it from Grace Slick.
Look at
she
you.
Taunted the Nazis, or the Germans, not the Nazis. You know. So yeah, Jefferson Airplane.
Potato, tomato, you know.
Don't you want somebody to
gotta
love?
tell you, did not see that coming.
Yeah. Fun stuff, right?
Okay. Now I'm gonna just show you how my brain works for a second. Actually, I must say that this was a suggestion from my wife. So this kind of came from her, but we're going to talk about, and you can open up your other link now whenever you have a chance.
I love this. It's like one of those like Disney follow the bouncing Mickey head.
What's behind door number 3? It could be a boat. What if it's a boat?
What if it's a boat? Oh.
So we're going to talk about dangerous airport landing strips.
Oh my goodness.
Because I feel like this deserved a place in this show.
It does.
I see. Don't you agree?
100%. Oh, there were so many things that we missed in terms of like airplanes in general.
Sure.
But this is definitely a good one.
I'm trying to make up for it. Okay. So I'm going to take us to the first one on the list. First one in your article, sir. The Princess Juliana Airport in somewhere we are very familiar with, St. Martin.
Yes, we are very familiar with it.
Very familiar. So thought this was super cool. In St. Martin, there is I could tell 30 other stories about this fantastical place, but I'm gonna tell this story. There's a thin, narrow beach with a fence separating tourists from airplanes. You can see in the image, quite literally, it flies right over the tourists.
What is the why?
Really cool. So that that's where this airstrip is, and now this spot has become a favorite spot of tourists who are trying to get like airplane selfies. Not many places you can go and get an airplane selfie.
Oh God, that was rude. Sorry. This just seems wildly dangerous.
It does look very dangerous, does it not?
Yeah.
But I mean, really cool spot to get a photo op, you know?
I'm so luckily weak on my selfie game that I would never in my life think like, you know what I want to do?
No.
hang out with their jet engines to go
Yeah.
ahead and take a picture with them.
That's not for me. You know, I didn't mention this before, but my wife is obsessed with airplanes.
Oh, she is.
Oh yeah, to the point where like if I know we're driving past an airfield, that I should just expect that she's not going to pay attention while she's driving.
I can relate because that's how I fell in love with airplanes, like driving past Newark.
It's her favorite thing.
I think they're awesome. Good. So you know what? Next time we're all together, she and I will sit in the back seat and you can just drive us around if anything.
That works.
Brewster Road.
You got it, buddy. Sure thing. Moving down our list, we're going to go to Nepal. This is the Tenzing Hillary Airport. It's the next one down for you.
Yeah.
Quite the view to go along with its extremely short runway that is actually an incline and ends abruptly at a steep cliff.
Why in the world?
This is sitting at the gateway to Mount Everest. This airport must err on the side of caution as they frequently have to close without warning due to the ever-changing winds and cloud cover. But I mean, beautiful airport.
It is beautiful. You know what I think freaks me out there is that whole idea of we have to close without warning.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, because how many other towns are just chilling out there at the base of Everest? Oh, not even at the base, dude. I mean, look, it's pretty high
I was just
up.
gonna say it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
Shit.
Okay, so the next one, actually, this one might be a personal favorite of mine. This is 2 down for you. This is the Courchevel Altiport in France.
Ooh.
This airport is insanely dangerous, and I don't even have to say anything. You just need to look at the picture. It is covered in ice. Icy conditions are the normal here. And because of so many mountains, you know, because there are so many mountains surrounding, there's a possibility. No possibility of a pilot to have a go-around approach. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
Yeah.
So it's when they can circle the area and kind of like decide whenever they want to land. Unfortunately, they can't do that here. So that means that whenever they're ready to land, they have to be ready to land. You're coming in, you're going to land, you're landing this time. No choice.
Oh, I don't like that.
This could actually get a little hairy because when the fog rolls in, the visibility becomes a huge issue and actually can go down to 0. So even in good conditions here, things can go wrong. Back in 2019, a plane missed the touchdown zone and crashed into a snowbank, injuring 3 passengers.
Yeah, I don't like that because this is also like some of these airports, and this one in particular, this isn't one of those where you're also coming in on a 707. You're not coming in on a 747. No. You're on like a little
rinky-dink charter.
That's the sound, evidently, that a propeller makes in my mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not the best.
No.
Okay, and we're gonna keep going on down. I think this one actually might be the most dangerous on our list yet. This is the Oman Airport in Malaysia.
Oh, let's see here.
So just a couple down for you. This airport in Malaysia requires a bit of skill to get to, as the pilot must clear multiple mountain ridges on their way in, and then proceed to make a sharp turn to land on the runway parallel to the beach.
Holy shit.
This also happens to be a one-way runway. So there is only one way of entrance and exit, both flying in and out. So lots of top-notch coordination for this airway to run regularly. As you could see, there is not much room for.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the idea of one way, but at the same time, like, anything can be 2 ways. No?
Well, sure. Yeah. Well, I guess how it is you can only leave and enter facing the same way. Or I'm sorry, you
turn to land.
You have to.
Christ.
Yeah, it's only one way in and out.
That's
so you can land. You know, like you can land facing east, but you also need to exit facing west.
Yeah. Oh, you see, like pilots do not, I think, always get some of the respect that they necessarily deserve.
They definitely don't. Like, and in my last airport, it's called the Paro Airport in Bhutan. I think I got 2 more down for you.
Yeah.
Standing as Bhutan's only airport, surrounded by the towering Himalayas, another beautiful view. Landing at Paro Airport, and this goes back to what you say, is a daunting task. Pilots really don't get the what's the word I'm looking for? Acknowledgement that they should. So actually, in the world, there are only 8 pilots that are qualified to make the landing at Paro in Bhutan.
8?
Only 8 in the entire
Holy
world.
shit.
The high winds, as you can see from the picture, the Himalayas are right all around it.
Yeah.
There are also high winds that make it increasingly difficult to guide the plane over the nearby rooftops because those are houses right there, like at the bottom of that shot. And
Yeah.
those are like residential houses.
Oh my God. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Again, apologize. Wow. Like never. So
Pretty cool.
these are some of those like flights where like, I'm sure if you were to like see them landing online, these are the ones that like always blow my mind, where as that plane comes down, where all of a sudden to like slice the air, they like go almost like perpendicular to the the runway, and then at the last moment like stick it back on in. That is mind-blowing. Like I don't know how they do that.
It's really impressive, man.
But like, wow.
It's really impressive. And there's one I didn't talk about, but I feel like we have to talk about it anyway.
Yeah.
All the way down at the bottom of the list is Gisborne Airport in New Zealand. And I mean, right, there's a railway crossing in the main runway of the airport.
Why?
Trains and planes intersect throughout the day and are carefully managed by the air traffic controller, who signals for the train to go after the plane is landed.
Why?
It's that, I mean, efficiency, I guess. This was built all the way back in 66. Accident-free coexistence since then. I mean, if that isn't a testament to what things should be like.
Well, it's wild. Like you know, luckily we live in a time when we do, because there were more than enough accidents that had like, there were more than enough mistakes that had been made previously, to where, you know, flying is the safest way to travel, you know.
It's pretty amazing that this airstrip has been sans accidents since the 60s.
Yeah.
So we can't go 6 months without a truck driving into the underpass at Laurel Ave.
Oh God, I know. Although I think it's closed right now yet again, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I know, because I got lost in our own childhood town because I couldn't.
You did?
I did. I couldn't figure out how to get to the parkway from my parents' house. I was very embarrassed.
Oh.
Yeah, I was very embarrassed.
Yeah, I expect more from you.
I expect more from me too. I have a GPS built in, you know, to everything at this point. So
The wonders.
Couldn't figure out how to get there. Those are some cool runways though.
Those are awesome, right?
Yeah, like I love that kind of stuff. That's awesome. If you ever get a chance, you know, I'm a big fan of the subreddit, catastrophic failure.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Okay.
Oh, it's such a good one. But they go through some of these kind of like classic or like old like plane crashes and explain, like they do these deep analysis of like what happens. It's definitely shit that's like given to folks who are training to be pilots. Like it's very technical.
Oh.
But they break it down also for like those of us, you know, passengers, I guess, if you will, and how many of these accidents were totally due to like miscommunications and whatnot in this, a lot of times like takeoff and landing processes.
Sure.
And how as a result in the last, you know, 30 years, we really don't have a lot of them, knock on wood, anymore.
Thank goodness.
As a result. Wow. Crazy shit though. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. Love it.
Love
well,
it.
Hey, thanks everyone for joining us in today.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to be in person next time.
Yeah. We're going to be back.
Yeah. And we got some really good beer to drink.
We have a lot of good beer.
Really good beer to
go
drink.
Through.
Oh yeah, buddy, for sure.
So I guess that means I'll be seeing you at least.
Oh, very soon.
And
very soon. We're gonna.
Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say we're gonna get together off air and figure it out.
Yeah.
Hammer out the details.
We hope that you join us as well. So make sure that wherever you're listening right now, you click that subscribe button. You know,
obliterate that like button.
Obliterate it. Damn it. Yeah. And otherwise, we'll see you on the socials.
Yeah.
So, you know,
we'll catch you.
Go forth and do the Lord's work.
Stay tuned for the recording of Nick. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.